Good morning and welcome to Fox 29's News Now on this Monday morning. We're going to get started with some local news for you in Philadelphia. Police are searching for the driver involved in a hit and run that killed a woman Sunday morning. Fox 29's Steve Keeley has more.
Philadelphia police now know why the driver of this Infiniti backed down the block so wildly at 49th and Aspen in West Philly just minutes before 7 a.m. yesterday, and how the 36-year-old woman killed ended up getting run over. She was actually a passenger inside the Infiniti as the driver was likely parking or pulling out of a spot, and surveillance video shows two men, one with a gun, running up to the car. And the driver obviously saw them and floored it in reverse to try to get away before getting killed. That's when he began sideswiping 5 other parked cars. Then she jumped out after it hit the last of the cars, then fell and got backed over by the Infiniti.
In a strange turn of events, it appears that this female may have been in that car and that she actually tried to jump out after it struck the last vehicle, and then he, I guess, inadvertently ran her over. So she wasn't walking across the street. She was actually in the car.
The driver got out, then ran away. So now, with good reasons to both back up so erratically, then even to keep running away outside the car if the men with the gun were still after him. Police don't believe any shots were ever fired, and they are still looking for both the driver and registered owner, who may be the same person, and also looking for those two with the gun. It'll then be up to the district attorney to decide what, if any, charges that driver may face when he's eventually found.
We need that individual to come in, and so obviously we have some video to support why he may have been doing what he was doing, but it doesn't change the fact that he left. So it's important that he comes in and gives his side of the story. He may be able to add something to it relative to why these two individuals are even coming after him. We can see that at least one has a gun, and so trying to figure out what this is all about. And so at the end of the day, what will happen is we'll consult with the district attorney to see how all these factors go together, to see if and when we get someone in custody, what charges would be appropriate.
At police headquarters, Steve Keeley, Fox 29 News.
And in Washington, a battle is brewing on Capitol Hill in what is looking more and more like a standoff between the U.S. Attorney General and House Democrats. The Justice Department has informed the House Judiciary Committee that Attorney General William Barr may skip a Thursday hearing on Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report if committee lawyers seek to question him. Fox's Doug Luzader has more.
Can I just squeeze this in?
Sure.
I want to take you down to Washington, D.C. So this battle is brewing right now on Capitol Hill in what is looking more and more like a standoff between U.S. Attorney General and House Democrats. Yeah, that's why I'm doing the story. William Barr is who I'm talking about.
So he may now refuse to testify before the House Judiciary Committee on the Robert Mueller report.
Yep.
And it could trigger new legal drama.
William Barr was in for a grilling this week, but right now it looks like he may be a no-show for what was looking like an explosive appearance before the House Judiciary Committee. His Department of Justice says House Democrats suddenly wanted staff attorneys, not just members of Congress, to question Barr about the Robert Mueller report into Russian election interference. The DOJ says the Attorney General agreed to appear before Congress. Therefore, members of Congress should be the ones doing the questioning. He remains happy to engage with members on their questions regarding the Mueller report. Democrats may respond with a subpoena, upping tension between Congress and the White House.
Put all their hopes behind their collusion delusion.
With allegations of Russian collusion now looking like a dead end, Democrats are really pursuing the obstruction angle, accusing the president of interfering with the Mueller investigation.
I've personally prosecuted obstruction cases on far, far less evidence than this. And yes, I believe if he were not the president of the United States, he would likely be indicted on obstruction.
I can't think of one thing that President Trump did to stop Mueller from doing his job. He never claimed executive privilege. From my point of view, I've heard all I need to really know. Now I want to look at and find out how all this happened.
All right, so we'll see what happens.
And now to your Fox 29 Weather Authority. The Philadelphia area is slated for a cool and sunny Monday to kick off the week with a high of 63 degrees. The threat of rain looms large over the week, with a chance of showers Tuesday and Wednesday. Rain is expected Thursday, and thunderstorms are slated for Friday. Temperatures will bounce between the mid-60s all the way up to the upper 70s throughout the week. And let's take a look at current temperatures in our area. We have a chilly 45 degrees in Mount Pocono, 51 degrees in Trenton, 53 in Philadelphia, 52 in Wilmington, 53 in Toms River, and 54 degrees in Wildwood, New Jersey. And looking ahead to our 7-day forecast, again, Monday, looking sunny and cool, high of 64 degrees. And rain, again, is going to be the major weather story this week, with a chance of showers on Tuesday and Wednesday, and showers expected on Thursday, and some late thunderstorms on Friday, hopefully clearing up for a partially sunny weekend. Maybe some AM showers, but not a total washout. And for the latest forecast and location-based severe weather alerts, be sure to download the latest version of the Fox 29 Weather Authority app.
Can I just squeeze?
And apologies for the rogue clip there. Developing now, 3 people, including an 8-year-old girl, continue to recover from the injuries they suffered in Saturday's synagogue shooting near San Diego. Hundreds gathered last night at a vigil in their honor. 60-year-old Lori Gilbert Kay died trying to shield Rabbi Israel Goldstein. He talked about his injuries and her bravery.
We don't see a connection to other groups. It was a hate crime, no doubt about it, but the investigation will continue. We'll see what happens.
And Rabbi Israel Goldstein of the San Diego Synagogue is the uncle of a local rabbi here in Philadelphia. Rabbi Chaim Goldstein is the director of the Chabad House at Drexel University. His wife's sister had 3 children who were in the building when the gunman opened fire. The couple says Chaim's uncle, Rabbi Israel Goldstein, helped to get the children out of the congregation and out of harm's way.
That whenever we see darkness, it reminds us we don't have enough light. And light is so simple. It just means just turning it on. It just means you have a friend you haven't spoken to in a while, give them a call. There's someone out there you walk in the street who needs a little help, give them something to eat.
The rabbi and his wife are making plans to go to San Diego to visit their family. Developing overnight in Fern Rock. Police are investigating a shooting outside of a takeout spot. It happened shortly before 11 p.m. on Sunday on the 1300 block of West Olney Avenue. The 27-year-old victim was taken to Einstein Hospital, where he's listed in critical condition. So far, no arrests. And in South Philadelphia, a 22-year-old man is critical at Jefferson Hospital after he was shot several times. The shooting happened just before 1 o'clock this morning on the 1300 block of Fitzwater Street. Police say the victim got into an argument with the shooter at a nearby gas station. The gunman then allegedly followed the man to a relative's home and shot him as he walked to the front door. So far, no arrests in the shooting. And an update on a story out of Northampton County, where police arrested a man they say set fire to a Bethlehem church twice in 1 week. This is video of the fire aftermath at Iglesia Pentecostal Church. 43-year-old Wilmer Torres of Allentown has been charged with arson, burglary, and criminal trespassing. He's accused of starting a fire at the church last Tuesday and then again 2 nights later. And in Virginia this weekend, crews rescued 5 men from a cave after heavy rains trapped them inside. The rescue took about 2 hours yesterday. Authorities say the men were planning to camp out for the weekend. However, late Saturday, rain saturated the cave, trapping them inside. One of the men managed to escape Sunday morning and was able to get help. The victims were taken to the hospital for exhaustion and mild hyperthermia. They are all expected to be okay. And it appears we're having some technical difficulties on our end. We apologize for the delay. Thanks for sticking with us. Stay tuned. And thanks for sticking with us. We're going to move on to some national news now. Over the weekend, a 19-year-old gunman opened fire inside a synagogue near San Diego as worshippers celebrated the last day of a major Jewish holiday, killing a woman and wounding the rabbi and 2 others Saturday. This morning, Naomi Adler, the CEO of the Jewish Federation of Greater Philadelphia, discussed the shooting and its ramifications on Good Day Philadelphia.
7:30 here. Let's talk about what happened in San Diego over the weekend. Quick update here. 3 people, including an 8-year-old girl, continue to recover from the injuries they suffered in Saturday's synagogue shooting near San Diego.
Hundreds gathered last night at a vigil. 60-year-old Lori Gilbert Kay died trying to shield Rabbi Goldstein. She was at the synagogue to say a mourner's prayer for her mother, who recently passed away.
God.
The search for answers continues, along with the investigation into Saturday's shooting. National Security Advisor John Bolton spoke out about what he knows so far.
We don't see a connection to other groups. It was a hate crime, no doubt about it, but the investigation will continue. We'll see what happens.
So they did arrest the shooter, 19 years old. Arrested him right after the shooting, as a matter of fact. So Naomi Adler, who is the CEO of the Jewish Federation of Greater Philadelphia, is with us this morning. Good to see you again.
Good morning.
Too bad it's under these circumstances here. So this was Saturday. What was special about Saturday? It's the last day of Passover?
Yeah, so it was special for two reasons. First, it's the Shabbat, the day of rest, and of course most Jews will be in a synagogue either Friday night or Saturday, and this Saturday was a celebration of the end of Passover. Mm-hmm. So there were a lot of families together, which is pretty common.
And the synagogue would have been full, bursting at the seams.
Yes,
I mean, probably why this horrible man went in there and you chose this day.
Unfortunately, we're finding that's true. Mm-hmm. When there are white nationalists or other racists that really want to do harm, they're looking for a moment, right? And that's a moment when a lot of Jews will be in a synagogue.
And like in Pittsburgh, it was this Saturday, wasn't it?
Correct. Yeah, it was on Saturday morning, yeah. And usually what will happen is that people are together, right? And so when a gunman is thinking about those types of things, we've been taught that it's when people are gathered together. And so when we're trained on how to deal with it, it's to make sure that we're not always lumped together in a particular
and apparently,
situation.
This 19-year-old's gun jammed.
And that's the only reason why he stopped.
Yeah.
What was your reaction or feelings when you first heard about the shooting?
Well, you know, there's shock and horror. And then there's a feeling of, oh my gosh, it happened again. And it should be expected at some point that it's going to happen again, which is this horrible feeling of we're never going to get through this, which of course is not true. We can do a lot. We have to stand up against this kind of hate, and we can't stop praying just because someone wants us to.
Yeah.
Because that's the interesting thing moving forward. It's like you don't want to not go because, you know, it's your faith and you want to be a part, but every time you go, do you sometimes think and like, oh gosh, like this is a holy day, or this is something where something could happen? How do you avoid having those thoughts and still be brave in this?
Well, we're trying to train people. At the Jewish Federation of Greater Philadelphia, we've been having training sessions. We work with both law enforcement and volunteers who are at the synagogues, and of course the clergy, the rabbis and the cantors, to make sure they know what to do.
If
and
a situation like this would happen.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, gosh.
The fact that we have to do things like this just...
Well, would anybody... Do you believe in arming people inside the synagogue?
So a lot of people have opinions about whether to arm. What we think you should be doing is arming yourself with knowledge, right? We know that it's important to know where the exits are, know how to protect oneself. We've told the rabbis and the cantors that even if it is your belief not to look at your phone, that your phone should be on, so God forbid you have to call 911, you can do so.
That's interesting. I know we had this situation at the mosque down in New Zealand. What do you think is the reason for an uptick in this? Attacks on religion.
Right. Well, there's a rise of anti-Semitism across the world. There's a feeling that it's more able to be seen and that people will be using the internet and that they can mobilize to use the internet. We think that there are a number of reasons that hate is more acceptable in the communities, and that's why it's so important to make sure that we're standing up very publicly against every faith-based shooting.
What, 19 years old, what is that hate based on? What is this hate of Jews?
Well, there unfortunately has been hatred of Jews for thousands of years, right?
Where does that stem from?
I think there's a number of different historical reasons, but every minority group has a particular history in which governments and others have taken that opportunity to blame all of the bad economics or their own situation, directly directed to a group that, happens to be in their face or in their neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And I think Jews, for a number of reasons, have been the target for thousands of years.
Yeah. How do you explain it to yourself? Like
There's
San
no
Diego,
explanation.
Pittsburgh. there is no explanation.
No. What you have to do is pray that there'll be enough people out there to re-educate people who have been educated in hate from their beginnings and their family. It's extremely important to talk about it and to promote education about the Holocaust and everything else that has to do with hate.
And even though this one wasn't in our state, it still has local ties, because we have learned that the rabbi, who we've been showing, who's doing interviews, who lost his finger, he actually is related to some people that we have here.
It's a small world, particularly in the Jewish world, right? Everyone is connected to everyone else.
That's for sure.
In one way, it's very comforting and heartening that we can be there together and we can stand together. And that's what we did last night, and that's what we continue to do every day.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you, Naomi.
Sure.
Okay.
And more on Good Day Philadelphia this morning. Dr. Ian Smith appeared to tell us about his new book. Do you believe you can lose 15 pounds in 1 month? He says you can.
Here's a silly question. Am I on?
We are. Yeah. They turned off the monitors because we're about to do a test. And they don't want us to know what's being shown on TV.
Oh, okay.
Because you guys at home will know the answers, but we won't know the answers.
Okay. So, Dr. Ian Smith is here, and his new book is called, what is it?
Clean and Lean.
Clean and Lean.
I like the sound of it. It has a ring to it.
It says in this book that we could lose 15 pounds in 1 month, safely and properly, right?
100%.
What is the plan?
Okay, so clean and lean is basically clean eating, which is reduced processed ingredients, meats, intermittent fasting. And 1 + 1 in this case does not equal 2, it actually equals 3, because the weight loss results are through the roof.
Okay.
So people lose up to 15 pounds in 30 days just by doing those two things together.
A lot of people are talking about intermittent fasting. What is that?
Okay, it's not starvation. There's a lot of food to eat.
That's what it feels like.
No, it's not. A lot of food to eat. So basically, there are periods of eating, which is your feeding window. Then there's a period of fasting, which is your fasted window. So for example, and the book gives you 3 different options. Let's say I start my feeding window at 10 a.m. in the morning.
Okay.
So I eat from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. 3 meals, 3 snacks during that time. Then at 8 p.m. I start my fast. So from 8 p.m. to 10 in the morning is my fasting window. Now, here's the key. You have to stick to your fast, because during your fast, your body needs energy. So it goes into your fat stores for energy. If you eat during your fast, otherwise breaking your fast, the body will choose the food instead of the fat.
Okay.
So you're allowed to have coffee with a splash of organic milk. You can have herbal tea. You can have water during your fast. But that's it. You have to respect the fast. Now, you can do different times. You can do 16 of a feeding window, 8 fast, 14, 10, 12, 12. The more aggressive your fast, or the longer your fast, obviously, the more weight you're going to lose.
Can I do 23 hours of eating and 1 hour of fast?
Sure, if you want to gain weight.
Wait, this might seem a silly question, though, but what if you're hungry? You just got to hold out?
Well, people are not. You hold out, but
and
also you drink water, and after 5 minutes it'll go away. And people love it. By the way, in our Facebook group, Cleaner Get Leaner, people are doing all types of fast, all types of time. So join our group, Cleaner Get Leaner, to find out more about it. Now, here's a test for you guys.
Okay.
The question is it on the Clean and Lean or not? Steak.
Yes, it's on the Clean and Lean.
I would say yes if it's not have all the sauce or anything on it. Just
steak is good. No antibiotics, hormone-free, grass-fed. Yes, it's allowed.
Okay.
Oat cereal. On Clean and Lean, oat cereal.
It smells sweet, so I'm going to say no. I smell sugar or something.
Oat cereal?
No, it sounds like a good thing.
Yeah, it sounds like, but it's not. It's not. So oat is good, but it has a lot of artificial ingredients, a lot of synthetic chemicals, so be careful of those crackling oats. Organic cheese, yes or no?
No, because I love cheese. So
cheese is great. Why not cheese?
Really?
Cheese is on the plan. It's on Clean and Lean. Trail mix.
Yes.
Yes, you can have it?
Yes.
No, you can't have it.
Because there's candy in it.
There's all kinds of sweeteners inside of trail mix. Make sure it's natural if you're going to do it.
Okay.
Salad dressing, low fat.
What if it's low fat? No?
Low fat, fat-free, no good.
Okay.
Tons of sugar.
Tree bark.
Dried fruit.
Oh, dried fruit.
The tree bark, it looks like it, right?
Tree bark.
Dried fruit.
I'd say yeah.
I'd say yeah.
Be very careful about that. If it's dried fruit with nothing added, it's fine, but be careful. They add a lot of sugars, believe it or not, to dried fruit.
Really?
Peanut butter?
Always good, I hear.
I'd say yes.
100%. You guys are doing
Good.
this thing.
All
Yes.
right.
Peanut butter.
No, there's too much sugar in it. Snack bars, whatever.
It's a snack bar or is it a protein bar?
It's a snack bar.
Oh.
Too much sugar. Be careful of the snack bars and protein bars. And water.
How can water be bad?
But it's flavored water, so is that bad?
Flavored water, no good. Artificial ingredients.
I knew it.
Okay.
And I used to love Propel.
Add your own citrus to it. Eggs, last.
Yeah.
never
No,
had
wait,
egg.
the yolk, the whole egg. That's the key.
whole egg.
The whole egg is bad.
Yeah, just the white.
No. All of it's good.
Really?
On the Clean and Lean, they're regular foods. They're very easy, very affordable. Yes, it's good on Clean and Lean.
These raw?
Those are raw.
We're about to
Be
find
careful.
out.
But let me tell you something. In our Facebook group, some people have lost 13 pounds in 3 weeks, 11 pounds in 10 days. I mean, it's amazing. So I really can't emphasize enough. Join us on Facebook and join the group. We have 24,000 people doing it. But here's the key. Flexible, whether you're a vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, you can swap in and out all your meals, and they're all spelled out for you every day. And your exercise, very basic exercise, less than 30 minutes, 4 days a week.
What about a Presbyterian?
Perfect. I love it. Episcopalian, too.
Catholics, eat a lot of fish.
Good seeing you guys.
Congratulations.
All right,
the book is out there, right?
It's
now.
available everywhere, online, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, Walmart.
Okay.
I'm going to get it.
Clean and lean out in these streets. I'm ready.
And we're moving on to some live streams in Washington today. Lawmakers are discussing the 2019 Religious Freedom Report. We'll check in with them right now.
Importance of international religious freedom, which is foundational and fundamental human right. This year, we're issuing our 20th annual report, which will give you a snapshot of where religious freedom is in peril and what can be done about it. Last year was also the 20th anniversary of the passage of International Religious Freedom Act, the legislation that created USERF. For those of you who aren't familiar with us, we are an independent, bipartisan U.S. government commission dedicated to promoting the universal right to freedom of religion globally around the world. Throughout the year, we monitor religious freedom conditions abroad, including through frequent travel. Under our mandate in PERFA, we issue a report by May 1st each year with recommendations to the President, Secretary of State, and Congress on how to promote religious freedom around the globe. This year, our report covers 38 countries. Though we focus on the worst countries in the world for religious freedom, we highlight improvements in those places as well, where appropriate, and we certainly saw some positive movement in some countries last year. You can see the full report on our website at www.usef.gov, and copies are available on the tables on either side. Before I describe the report further, I must say that USERF, we are blessed with outstanding staff, and so my special thanks go to the entire staff for putting this wonderful report together and this event. I would also like to thank Jamie Harvey, Amanda Green of the Government Publishing Office Design Shop, Erin Gordon, our copy editor, and Emily Bonner, and the translators at Cetra Language Solutions. The entire team's focus, coordination, and dedication made today possible. Please join me in giving them a round of applause. The report groups countries into two categories of tiers. Our country's tier status is decided by a majority of board commissioners. Tier 1 is the group of countries the U.S. Service recommending to the State Department for designation as countries of particular concern, or CPCs. This is a category in IRFA for governments that engage in tolerate, I quote, systematic, ongoing, and egregious, unquote, violations of religious freedom. 16 countries are on Tier 1 this year, and this includes 10 countries the State Department has designated as CBCs, most recently in November last year. And the names are listed in the reports. I'm not going to go through the list. The State Department named Pakistan as CBC for the first time ever last year, an improvement and long needed step that we welcome. In addition, USERF believes the 6 other merit CBC designation, the 7 African Republic, Nigeria, Russia, Syria, Uzbekistan, and Vietnam. Tier 2 is for countries where we find that the violations meet 1 or 2, but not all 3 of the systematic ongoing egregious steps for CBC status. 12 countries on the list, and these are in our report. My colleagues and I will discuss some of the USERF key findings and recommendations on some of the countries in more detail this morning. Please let me start first with China. The cover of our report this year tells the story of the appalling abuses against Uyghur Muslims in China. Last year, the government of China has been especially pernicious toward religion or religious believers, particularly Tibetan Buddhists, Christian, Falun practitioners, and Muslims. China was one of the 3 countries that made the primary focus of the USERF's first annual report in 2000. In that first report, USERF found that Uyghur Muslims face heightened repression of their religious and other human rights, were subject to arbitrary arrest, torture, and extrajudicial executions, and were imprisoned for the religious belief, association, or practice. Now, nearly 20 years later, as a Muslim in China, particularly an ethnic Uyghur Muslim, you may be forcibly sent to a detention camp, subjected to unspeakable acts of abuse by alleged torture, and pressured to abandon your faith. Uyghur Muslims are constantly surveilled, their phones confiscated and scanned, their DNA collected, their children forfeited from attending mosques. The Chinese government has forcibly interned between 800,000 and 2 million adults in detention camps and relegated some of their children to orphanages. The U.S. government and international community must swiftly and resolutely sanction Chinese officials and agencies that have perpetrated and tolerated severe religious freedom violations. The United States must press the Chinese government immediately and unconditionally set Uyghur and other Muslims free from internment camps and also release all prisoners of conscience. Last year and this year also, we also continue to make religious prisoners of conscience one of our top priorities. As a part of religious prisoners of conscience or RPOC project, I have adopted a Benjamin Lama, who has been visited by the Chinese government since 1995 and who turned 30 years old last week, April 25th, and I issued an open letter. And Ms. Bulgara Iman, a Uyghur Muslim woman unjustly serving a life prison in China, life-term prison in China. Currently, we have 13 RPOCs in the project. We have seen the release of some RPOCs, including last year. Last year and this year, we also worked to fulfill the victims list mandate given to us by Friend Group Act. We now have a database platform and are gathering cases to populate the database. I would now like to turn to my colleagues, Vice Chair Christina Arriaga, who will talk about some of our overarching recommendations, the issue of non-state actors and country situation.
Thank you very much. It has been mentioned many times this morning, the wonderful thing that is to be bipartisan and to be in a group of commissioners where we passionately agree about almost everything outside of this room and outside of the commission room. But once we're in the commission room, we draft a report in the spirit of consensus building and with laser-like precision and attention on the issue of religious freedom. It's truly an honor to serve with my colleagues, and I will keep my remarks very short so you can all have time to ask them questions. One of the greatest moments I have had at the commission, and there have been many, was when I was with my colleague, the first Tibetan Buddhist to be appointed to the commission, Tenzin Dorji in Iraq, and after they issued our helmet and our flak jacket, I told them I'm a little concerned because you get to come back, I don't. However, he assured me that our karma brought us together, so we would both come, whether I believe it or not. And that was a very enriching moment for the commission. We have all had similar conversations. A couple of my Baptist colleagues have tried to save me, I won't mention who. But isn't it wonderful that we live in a country and we are in a place where we won't get arrested on our way out of here simply because we're making our statements like many of the countries that we monitor. So a few very short points. One is our report indicates there has indeed been a tremendous deterioration in many countries when it comes to religious freedom. Well, we just don't take that line down. We're a commission that has powerful policy recommendations. We remind Congress, the Department of State, the Department of Treasury, the Department of Commerce, that Congress has given us powerful tools in our legislation and powerful tools through the Global Magnitsky Act and through the through our own legislation, which allows us to use targeted measures and sanctions against individuals who have violated the religious freedom of many in their own country. Second, we want to make the point that the world is changing. The United States Commission on International Religious Freedom report is not only looking at countries. It used to be when we first established, countries have boundaries, and they are contained within those boundaries. Unfortunately, terrorist organizations all over the world have expanded and have formed countries that extend boundaries. So we also identified a number of entities of particular concern. We have a different number in the Department of State. I'll let you read the report. I'll let you ask the department what we differ on those numbers. Their definition is somewhat different. But the point is we're all united in identifying that this problem of religious freedom goes beyond the borders of many countries. Finally, this coming July, we're going to have the second ministerial. Last year was the first time since the Universal Declaration of Human Rights was drafted that there was a group of countries that got together to discuss at the minister level one issue and one issue alone, and that is religious freedom. We're encouraged that the administration is going to hold another ministerial in July, and to further emphasize the prioritization of religious freedom that the Trump administration has taken on, we would like to encourage the administration to appoint a special advisor to the President of International Religious Freedom to the National Security Council. This was envisioned by the IRFA bill that created our legislation and was reaffirmed with a Franco back, but it has not been done by any precedent. Finally, to speak briefly about the Religious Prisoners of Conscience program, you will see in our appendix that many of us commissioners, all of us commissioners, have adopted a certain number of people to lift their stories and illustrate the story and to become a voice for people that do not have a voice. Commissioner Moore's Prisoner of Conscience, which was released this year, was mentioned by Senator Manchin. We also, of course, have the great story of Pastor Andrew Brunson, where many people were involved in his release. But unfortunately, there's still people in prison. Ivan Matisky, a Scientologist in Russia, Dennis Christensen, a Jehovah's Witness. Members of the Church of Almighty God in China are facing increased repression. And also Taekwondo in Vietnam. Even though he has been released, he continues to be under state surveillance. And finally, I cannot finish these remarks without mentioning my homeland, Cuba. My parents escaped from Castro's Cuba to live according to their deeply held religious convictions. The situation in Cuba has deteriorated dramatically this last year. Just last week, there were 2 Christian pastors whose only crime was to want to raise their children according to their religion. And both of them were detained and imprisoned. It seems like they will each be sentenced to 2.5 years in prison. And a Christian lawyer who just came to attend the trial, just to attend it, to watch what was going on, was beaten severely. All the fingers in his right hand were broken, and he is suffering deafness in one ear just because he wanted to see what was going on. I would like to finish by thanking my fellow commissioners and by passing on the baton to fellow Commissioner Vice Chairwoman Manchin. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Arriaga. Unfortunately, China, Pakistan, and some of the countries that have been mentioned earlier are only a few of the several countries where freedom of religion or belief remained in peril through 2018. Some governments suppressed religious freedom under the guise of public order, national security, frequently invoking either real or perceived to be real threats that they feel justified that repression. Others brand religious and ethnic minorities as extremists, in part because these groups believe that they are working under a foreign influence. In several countries where USERF found deteriorating religious freedom conditions, it also found increased secularization and politicizing of religion. Religion and politics continually start to connect and interconnect, and sometimes that is intentional by those who seek to discriminate against minorities or to restrict their rights of certain religious communities. And the very governments that perpetuate and tolerate these abuses often cry internal, that we're restricting internal affairs. And so USERF has to be very careful in rightfully admonishing and separating truly deplorable religious freedom and human rights restrictions. In 2018, both state and non-state actors increasingly used religion as a tool to isolate, marginalize, and punish others through discrimination and violence. However, despite all these negative trends in the world today, there are some positive developments, such as Azerbaijan, Bahrain, Egypt, and Kazakhstan. And I have told them that these governments are willing to engage with international stakeholders and take some actions to improve the conditions of their country. And I tell them that even living in a bad neighborhood where they come from, they are trying to stand up for what is right, even though there is still work to be done. And even in two countries that we still recommend to be a country of particular concern, Saudi Arabia and Uzbekistan, we saw continued and sustained efforts by those governments to engage on some ongoing concepts that we are working through with these countries. Another very positive note is the release of another religious political prisoner of conscience, one whom I happen to have been advocating for, Muhammad Ali Taheri, a cognitive researcher and founder of a spiritual group in Iran. He has been imprisoned for his beliefs since 2011 under various charges and sentences, including twice having been sentenced to death. We obviously were thrilled to learn just last week that he has been released. We believe that by heightening the awareness of these types of imprisonments raises the scrutiny and improves the chances of a release around the world. Let me conclude by emphasizing what makes our annual report unique and of significant value to the many stakeholders in government and civil society. USERF's annual reports and, more importantly, USERF's mandate from Congress are different from, but certainly complementary to the State Department and their annual report on international religious freedom. First of all, the State Department writes on every country in the world except the United States. USERF's annual report is focused on fewer than 30 countries, and typically those are the ones that are most problematic in religious freedom violations. So that's a very important point. Second, USERF's annual report unflinchingly describes violations of international religious freedom, our mandate, whereas the State Department must account for overall bilateral relationships in reporting. USERF has the independence and the objectivity to call out these violations more bluntly and articulately. Third, USERF's reports, unlike the State Department, analyze U.S. policy with respect to international religious freedom, remember, our focus, our mandate, and make extensive policy recommendations both to the executive branch of government and to Congress. Over our 20-year existence, USERF's recommendations through research, personal interaction within visits to these countries, and also here in Washington, have impacted U.S. policy and helped to improve the implementation of IRFA, particularly in ensuring that the State Department designates the worst violators as CPCs. In addition, Congress has incorporated a number, as we heard from those who spoke this morning, a number of our recommendations to make U.S. religious freedom promotion abroad more effective under the Frank R. Wolf International Religious Freedom Act of 2016. I thank you for the opportunity to serve on this commission. I am proud to represent the United States, the one country that goes and looks and helps and tries to advocate for religious freedom violations anywhere in this world. It is an honor to be here and to serve in this position, and I thank you, and I now return to our moderator, Barr and Congress. Thank you so much.
We are running a little behind schedule, so I will ask two questions of commissioners today and then open it up to the audience. And now it's time for you, Mr. Bauer. The cover of the report highlights the Uyghur Muslims and their plight at the hands of the Chinese government. Religious freedom seems to be deteriorating right before our eyes in front of us in China. And the U.S. and China are on the cusp of a major trade agreement. So what should the U.S. government be doing to address these atrocities?
Well, as has been said several times this morning, we have a Tier 1 and Tier 2 of the countries we look at. If we were going to rate the Tier 1 countries, China would be in a category all by itself. In the level of persecution, they are an equal opportunity persecutor. They go after anybody of any faith that might compete with the communist, atheistic government of China for the loyalty of its citizens. So it's deeply disturbing to see that some of the countries in our report are not countries of great influence. China is an expanding power. It's a country getting more and more powerful by the year. And to have a country with these ideas and this degree of persecution ought to be something that scares everyone. We designated them as a Tier 1 country now for 20 years in a row. And the situation is getting worse. So we make a number of recommendations. One of them is that in all the negotiations between the United States and China on bilateral issues, particularly on the ongoing trade debates or negotiations going on now, all that is very important, but religious persecution specifically, and more broadly human rights, ought to be a factor on the table, in addition to tariffs and other related issues. And we are continuing to push that idea, and many of the commissioners are working with the administration every chance we get to remind them that it's not just tariffs and jobs, as important as that is, but it's also this basic idea of the right of every man and woman, whether they're in China or wherever they are, to seek God and worship God as they see fit. We're also asking this year for specific targeting of individuals. We know the names of people in China that are working for the government, that are engaged in this persecution, whether it's the Muslim Uyghurs or the Falun Gong or Christians or Tibetan Buddhists. We need to call them out by name. We need to do everything we can to shame them. We also say, very gently, I think, that we want to work with U.S. businesses, the U.S. government to work with U.S. businesses to help them do more on this issue. I'd like to be a little bit more specific. Trade with China was supposed to change China. It ended up that trade with China ended up changing America as more and more corporations became dependent on the goodwill of the Chinese government. So I will personally say, shame on you if you are a U.S. corporation and you are forgetting the first part of the description of you. You are a U.S. corporation. You are a corporation founded in a country that was built on religious liberty. How dare you make a separate peace with the Chinese government in order to advance your financial interests? So we want to keep the pressure. We hope the U.S. government will keep the pressure on U.S. businesses so that they will stand for the values of the country that allow them to be successful to begin with.
But you issued a statement condemning the Easter bombings that killed more than 300 people and injured 500. The Sri Lankan authorities were tipped off earlier, April 9th, April 11th. International organizations were telling them something was going to happen. What kinds of things should that government and other governments just like it in chaos do to prevent these kinds of barbaric attacks?
Thank you, Lauren. As you mentioned, that's not a country we cover, but the Easter attacks in Sri Lanka, as the recent attacks on the mosque in Christchurch in New Zealand, these are horrific, absolutely horrific. And of all places, regardless of your faith, where you go to worship, you should be safe. And we saw this trend increasing across the countries that we do observe, that increasingly houses of worship, because they're soft targets, are being targeted by terrorists and others. There were a few of us commissioners that were in Egypt for the opening of the Coptic church. Just prior to that, there was a bomb tech trying to dismantle a bomb the day before at another Coptic church that was killed in trying to disarm and render safe the device. It happened that that particular bomb tech had been trained by the U.S. Department of State's Anti-Terrorism Assistance Program, a program that I used to work with as a contractor. We have some wonderful men and women who are serving in our government, helping these foreign governments to create safe places over what has historically been vital installations, power plants, government facilities. But where we saw a glaring need was houses of worship, as they have now become targets of terrorists. And so one of our specific recommendations to the Department of State and the Department of Defense is to create and establish programs that would work with foreign governments to provide training and equipment, if necessary, to these houses of worship to secure them. Unfortunately, it's becoming an industry here in the United States, as we well know. And with a law enforcement background myself, I understand the importance of working with law enforcement to work with the officials in the various houses of worship to secure those sites. And this is a strong recommendation that we make to this administration to pursue this quickly so that people of all faiths can go to their houses of worship and do so in safety and security.
Thank you so much, Attorney Griffin. We'd like to open it up to questions. If you would raise your hand, and we'll bring the microphone to you. Right here in the front row.
Thank you for holding this. And I know there's a lot of issues, but could you, I'm going to start with Breitbart News, by the way. Could you say, if you were telling the Trump administration, the State Department, what should be their top priority right now, given what's going on?
Why don't we go with you, Christine? Or okay.
I think they should continue to do what they're doing, which is to bring this issue to the forefront. It continues to be a priority for our government that when we're interacting with countries. I know that the state, we're fortunate that you serve in it, as Christina pointed out, we look at our report on religious freedom, laser focused, and only on religious freedom. I know the administration has to look at a lot of different topics when they're making decisions, but to continue to make religious freedom at the top and to work that into all of their negotiations with countries is, I think, one of our strongest recommendations.
Thank you so much. Yes, gentleman in the back.
Hi, Shiab Razansi from Al Jazeera English. The Vice Chair mentioned Saudi Arabia, and certainly there's changing rhetoric when it comes to religious freedom there. As your report makes clear, Saudi Arabia is an intense violator of religious freedom. Congressman, the governor mentioned the execution last week of 37 people, mainly Shia. Is it time for forceful action against Saudi Arabia finally? Commissioner Barr was talking with regards to China about the specific targeting of individuals, working with US businesses who seem to care more about money than religious freedom. Is it time for action like that with Saudi Arabia, or should the US continue to give the kingdom a pass?
Commissioner Moore?
One of the unique parts of this report that you have in your hands, which hasn't been mentioned here, is that the IRFA legislation makes it explicitly clear that individual commissioners are to have the opportunity to express individual points of view on every issue and on every country. And in fact, in the reports that you have, there are several places at the end of the reports where you have individual comments on many countries. I think I contributed 5 or 6. There's several others here. The reason why that exists is because there's a majority opinion on certain issues, but there also is an expertise on this panel of commissioners that looks at the nuance of all of these issues. And so, as has been stated here before, the Commission released a press statement last week that was very, very clear on the most recent incident. But it is also true in Saudi Arabia that there are positive developments that are taking place in the parallel track. And what this Commission is focused on is exploring both and at the same time, not either or. In our visit to the Kingdom this year, when you sit down and you talk about the efforts to reform the Kingdom, everyone talks very openly about key performance indicators, right? The KPIs. So on the basis of the KPIs, unquestionably, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is one of the most egregious offenders of religious liberty. That's why it's a CPC. And so we, as the USERF Commission, with regard to this country or any country in the world, our eyes are going to roam the world, and when people suffer in darkness, we're going to raise our point of view, and we're going to condemn that. And that's what we do. On the same token, we're going to engage, with the positive effects that are happening in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. For the first time ever, this commission was allowed to meet with the religious police. That had never happened before. The Minister of Islamic Affairs was clear to us in a meeting that Saudi Arabia is not a kingdom anymore, where there can only be one religion. It's a kingdom where there are lots of different things happening. Some things that are the worst in the world, and on the same token, there's a glimmer of light, and we're trying to do what we can to shimmy open that door. And you're going to see that level of nuance in this report as you go throughout it. It's a report that talks about the terrible suffering of religious minorities in certain parts of Egypt, but it also acknowledges that the Grand Imam at Al-Azhar, has now said openly that the Baha'i and other religious communities, including the Jehovah's Witnesses, deserve the right to have their own places of worship in the country. It's a report that acknowledges, that the Kingdom of Bahrain, still has problems when it comes to the Shiite minority in the country. It is also a kingdom that has engaged with members of Congress and this Commission at an incredibly constructive level. And one of the reasons why some of those actions have taken place is because of direct engagement. So I say all that to say, this is not a political commission. This is a commission that calls, we call a spade, and we give credit where credit is due at the same time. And we will not be pulled into political disagreements as we do so.
And I wanted to just add real quick to answer that is the Commission did put out a statement a few days ago condemning the execution of the Shia Muslims and asking the government to lift the waiver that is giving Saudi Arabia a pass for these egregious legislative violations. Thank you, Commissioner. We're going to take one more question. The gentleman in the front.
I'm Sufi Lagari with the Sindhi Foundation. I'm sure you must know that in Pakistan, there is a problem. More than 1,000 girls, 10 to 12 years, forced conversion, forced marriages. Not only the Sindhi Hindu girls, but Shias, Hazaras, and even Sufis attacked by Islamic extremists. And in these all countries, Pakistan is the only country who received the more aid from the United States of America. I think this report just not enough to accountability to the Pakistani military of the ISI. I want to hear from you what act we have to take against Pakistan to especially those girls. And recently, one guy is called Mia Mittu. I really highly recommend that he must be declared as a terrorist. To the Hindu, the state, it's not I'm talking, Pakistani Human Rights Commission is talking, even in your own report.
Thank you so much. That would be Commissioner Moore. Or Bardella.
Thank you for the question. So I think in a number of the country reports, including Pakistan, which is a CPC country, for the reasons that you have raised and for many others, one of the things that we're really trying to focus on is the ways in which women and children have been a focal point of violence and persecution on the basis of religious freedom and otherwise. And so you will see throughout these reports, stemming from our independent report on women and religious freedom, we really do try to highlight the ways in which we see girls, the ways in which we see women being a focal point of violence, and how do we actually try and figure out how that not only gets highlighted and explored and investigated, but also that countries are held to account. And so I think your question, I think, is something that we as commissioners collectively are very concerned about, and it's something that we have noted in reports throughout the world.
Thank you so much. We've reached the end of our time today. Thank you all for coming, and thank you to the USERV commissioners and staff for a great report and event. USERV has also asked me to thank the following members of the media for your interest in covering this, the NGOs who participate in the IRF Roundtable for your commitment to international religious freedom, congressional staff as well. If you have follow-up questions,
And thanks for sticking with us. Back in national news, a college student was killed when a crane collapsed in Seattle. Seattle Pacific University says one of their students was among those killed when a crane collapsed onto a busy street on Saturday near a construction site. They say freshman Sarah Wong was one of 4 people who lost their lives. Officials say 2 of those victims were crane operators on the site, and the other 2 were in separate cars beneath. The medical examiner is expected to release the identities of the 4 victims sometime today. And more on Good Day Philadelphia this morning. Tuna Bar on Ray Street in Old City is upping its game. They now have a new menu and outdoor seating. Just in time for the good weather. Mike Jarek stopped by to check it out, and this week's You Gotta Try This.
So at 8:38, for this, you got to try this. One of the great things about being in Philly when the weather gets nice, it's cold outside and you get to sit and enjoy. But now there's one more place where you get to sit outside and have a good time, Tuna Bar. It's on Ray Street, and they're making some changes. They now have a new menu and also a new area to sit outside, Mike.
You better believe it. You know, it's one of our, well, Alex and I love this place. Tuna Bar is some of the best sushi I think in the country, as a matter of fact. It's Tuna Bar. The only thing I would change, you need a bigger sign, Chef. Chef King, good to see you.
Nice seeing you guys.
This man is an artist when it comes to sushi, no question about it. So now you have seating outside, obviously. You can see behind me here, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. That's easy to do. You just bring tables and chairs out.
Yes.
What's new on the menu?
We try to do pretty seasonal things right now. So right now,
let's start on this first table right here. Can I look at your food?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, cool. What is that?
So these are ramps, black trumpets, and morels.
What's a ramp?
Ramp is a seasonal, like onion, scallion type of vegetable.
Yeah.
That's only in season for about 30 days.
And you can wander around the Delaware Valley and just yank them out of the ground, right?
If you do find it, I wouldn't recommend it.
Oh, really?
You could eat it, yes. Yeah.
Okay. So that's great. What's on the second table here? Again, it looks like artwork. Look at that.
So what also is in season right now is scallops. Come from Cape May. So these little dragon fruit puree.
What's this? What's in here?
Oh, this is also scallops. This is like my version of like a ram pesto with like, my God, ginger, little yuzu. And that's
What is a yuzu?
Yuzu is a citrus from Japan. It's very light, not as sharp.
What is the red splash?
So that's a dragon fruit.
Oh,
so
that's
it's also
beautiful.
an antioxidant, so it's really healthy for you as well.
Okay. Let's look at the last table down here. Chef, what do you got going here? Sushi for breakfast.
We also have a salmon tartare with a white ponzu.
What's a ponzu?
Ponzu is a citrus that we make here, made with like white soy. It gives a little good acid and a little good acidity.
Yeah. One thing I like about you, well, I like many things about you, including great hair.
Thank you.
You go to the fish market every day?
Almost every day.
Almost every day.
By myself,
and you get unusual fish.
Where is in like local or something I have never seen before, I do try.
Never seen before.
That's what I look for. When I go to the market, if I have never seen it before, I usually just take it.
What's the most unusual fish you've ever formed into a sushi dish?
Most unusual fish.
Some of them are kind of freaky looking.
This last year I haven't really seen before. It's called a bonnet mouth. So it looks like a tuna inside, but it is a white fish.
Yeah.
So it's very, very unique.
Isn't that crazy?
The scales are huge.
That's what I love about this. You get unique items. Good to see you, man.
Nice seeing you.
Can we eat outside today?
Yes, of course.
Are you open at lunch?
Yes.
And evening, okay. Tuna Bar, it's right at 2nd and Race under the bridge.
It's such a great place, Mike. My favorite roll there is the Carson Wentz roll, which you've done and you got to try with back when the Eagles were trying to go to the Super Bowl. Right?
Wentz roll still on there, isn't it?
Of course.
They still have the Wentz roll.
Come on.
So good.
Nick Foles is gone.
Yeah, he had to let that one go. All right, thanks, Mike.
And that is going to do it for us today at Fox 29 News Now. Catch us again tomorrow, same time, same place, and thanks for watching.